Hi, I'm Pastor Pam from Elizabethtown Church of the Brethren, where I serve as pastoral liaison to our sanctuary committee. For the last year or so, we've been encouraging folks from our congregation to be advocates, to be in touch with our government officials, especially regarding a Clean Dream Act. We've been providing email information, letters, information to write letters, as well as make phone calls. And we've had a very good response. A few weeks ago, our committee decided to travel to Representative Lloyd Smucker's office in Lancaster to make our voices heard in person. Following on this video, you will hear from those who traveled and were able to meet with a staff person of Representative Smucker. We ask all of you to consider being an advocate for those who need a voice. We can make a difference in this world as God's people and as God's peacemakers. Thank you.
Going to Smucker's office was something that we talked about doing in our sanctuary meetings. Pastor Greg had spoken to us about the value of advocacy, and he gave us some ideas of what to expect. So when Pastor Pam sent out the email that encouraged us to go, it was a pretty easy decision to make. The desire to do something outweighed my fear of speaking in a group. As members of the committee began to share their concerns to Smucker's aid, I felt more comfortable and a confidence building in me. Pastor Greg said to speak from your heart and we would do fine, and this is what I found myself doing. It ended up being a positive experience. It definitely helped to have the support of the group. I also think it's important to realize that you can make a statement by just being there. You don't have to say anything. Over the next few days, I expected to get a form letter thanking us for expressing our views. I was pleasantly surprised to receive a survey for me to complete on immigration. I'm not sure if this would have happened if I hadn't gone.
Why did you go to Representative Smucker's office?
I responded to a request to go, and it was very helpful for me to go as a group. Mm-hmm. So having a direct invitation to go and knowing that I was going with other people, it was really easy to respond and say yes to that. Mm-hmm. That felt very comfortable.
Were you afraid when you decided to go, or did you know what to expect?
No, because the comfort of going with other people that I knew that I wouldn't be talking alone, that I wouldn't be solely responsible, so I wasn't afraid. I kind of thought that the office of a representative is probably open to hearing what we have to say.
And how did you prepare for that time?
I honestly did not prepare at all, other than serving on the sanctuary committee. I think I have a relatively good understanding of the issues that are being faced by the Dreamers and the DACA Act. So I kind of knew enough to feel like if I chose to participate and say something, I could say something that felt important to me.
So once you got there, what did you experience?
It was very low key. Given that Representative Smucker was not in his office, we ended up just talking to one of his staffers, who was very polite and very interested in hearing everything we had to say and recording it and making sure that it would get back to Representative Smucker. So that felt positive.
Mm-hmm. If you had it to do again, or when you have another opportunity, do you think you will do it again?
Oh yes, definitely. Given how accessible the office is and how responsive the staffer was, and how the group that I went with combined, each individual didn't say too many things, but I think as a group, each of our statements really was an important thing for us to do, and it felt like it would be something that we as a community showing up in a group really we made a statement in doing it, and it was easy, and I would definitely do it again.
So you think it'll make a difference?
I hope
it's
so.
Important.
I think it will, and I hope so.
All right, Pat, why did you decide to go down to Representative Smucker's office?
I think I felt more comfortable going with a group of people. But also from previous experience with working with the Sanctuary Committee many years ago, and still having an interest in the refugee immigration issue. So I felt a need to voice an opinion, and now that I'm retired, I can do that more easily.
Were you afraid to go down?
No.
Were you nervous?
No. Maybe in some respects a little bit because I didn't know what I was going to necessarily say, but I figured something will come to mind.
So, how did you prepare? Did you prepare at all for this, or did you have anything written down that you wanted to say?
Nothing was written, but I did think about what my concerns are and what my interest is and why I want to help them and why I feel as a Christian we should be speaking our truth, our subject of the issues to somebody of power.
And what did you experience there?
I felt cohesiveness with the people who went. I did not feel at all put aside. It was very relaxing to actually stand there and talk. You didn't feel pressured, and you didn't feel that your opinion didn't matter. There was no one yes or no side of the issue. So it was very comfortable, and I would go again.
That was going to be my next question. Would you do it again?
I would do it again, most definitely.
Do you think you made a difference?
I hope so. I think we do as a voice, and a number of people going, I think would make a bigger difference than just one or two people going. But one or two people can make a difference also.
Well, I guess I went because I think the gospel compels us to be peacemakers, and I try to do that in my everyday life, with my neighbors and my family and my relationships. But I live kind of a hermit's existence, and to take that peacemaking imperative into the world, I really have to force myself to leave my little hermitage. And this was an opportunity to do that with people that I trust and admire. I didn't have to synthesize all of that overcoming inertia by myself. Part of being an introverted hermit means that I have particular disdain for the political process. I don't like its manipulation. I don't like the deceit. I don't like anything about it. But I recognize that complacency in the face of injustice will never bring peace. In fact, it's interesting, if you want to Google the word complacency, how many famous quotes there are admonishing people not to be complacent, especially in the face of injustice. And so while it feels a little daunting for me to put my little imprint on the political process, I think my presence there was not terribly significant on the face of it. But as a symbolic act, and if it's joined with enough other people who are moved from their complacency, then it can have an effect. And I think it's an act of conscience. Much like much of what we do, it probably doesn't have a huge impact by itself, but acts of conscience, when they're multiplied with other people who are like-minded, do have an impact. So that's why I went.
Sandy, why did you decide to go to Representative Smucker's office?
I wanted to go personally to make a bigger impact on speaking out that we need a Clean Dream Act. I was hoping it would be more effective if there was a group visit of people who believed that.
How did you prepare to go? When you knew you were going, what did you do to get ready for it?
I really didn't do very much. I didn't write down any talking points. I thought about what I wanted to say. And honestly, I think that when you're there with a group, just listening to others will help prompt you to know what you want to say.
Mm-hmm. So once you were there, what did you experience?
I don't know what to say there.
That's okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, It felt comfortable. The person who let us in welcomed us in. He took notes. It was actually easier than I had expected.
Do you think you would go again?
Yes, yes, especially with a group, you feel very supported, and it felt good to speak out in that way.
And do you think it made a difference?
I believe that it does make a difference when he hears from his constituents, and I think a personal visit must make a stronger impact, that people actually took the time out of their lives to go and make that visit because they feel that strongly.
Please join us in these efforts. Every day, 122 young people lose their protective status. That number might grow to 1,000 at the beginning of March unless action is taken. Please be a voice for the voiceless. We are called as followers of Jesus to welcome the stranger among us. Thank you.